Good morning. Good
Good
morning. Good
mor
morning.
good morning. What a crazy morning.
I know we are having some technical difficulties today, so sorry we were hopping on a little late.
I was like, "What on earth?" Oh, it's okay, it's okay.
All right, shall we check on our phones to make sure we actually are live this
It
morning?
probably is not a bad idea. Hopefully, it's not just us watching us.
Yes. All right, I see it on my channel. Yay! Okay. I think that
Yep,
we are.
it says I'm live. Yay!
Woo! Okay, we got it. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Sorry for the delay in getting started, but we are now here and excited to chat a little bit about our topic today. So today we're talking about why most goals fail by January week 2 and how to fix it. Because we know here we are already heading into the second week in January. Can you even believe that we're already a full week in? Crazy.
I know, and we're 2 days from Quitter's Day.
Yeah, 2 days from Quitter's Day, and we don't want you to quit. We don't want you to fail on your goals. We want you to succeed. So that's why we are bringing you today's Wellness Wake Up Weekly about how you don't need to fail on your goals. And
That's
before
right.
we dive into that, though, let's do quick intros in case you're just hopping on for the very first time to the Wellness Wake Up Weekly with Christine and I. We've been doing this every week now for how many weeks? I think I lost track now how many weeks we've
I
been
did too, and okay, so the end of December was the 13th week, so this is actually the 14th week.
14. 14.
14
Oh my
weeks.
goodness. Wow. So anyway, with that being said, there's a lot more past episodes you can watch if you missed us. But all right, I'll quickly intro myself. I am Carrie Marie Vaughn, and I am located in upstate New York, where we just got a bunch of snow last night. So it looks all beautiful and snowy out there. The birds are having a blast. They have been flitting all over the place in the snow and eating from my bird feeders. I think I have at least 6 or 7 blue jays plus who knows how many other birds. But anyway, I am married to my high school sweetheart, and we have 3 adult children who are all now back off doing their own things after everybody was here together for Christmas and New Year's and things like that. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. I'm also an Unstickify Your Life coach. If you need to know what that is, just message me and I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about it. But I love helping people to get unstuck in different areas of your life, and especially where it comes to goals, where you feel like you're doing all of the right things towards your goals and you keep failing or you won't take action. There's usually a stuck point involved there. So anyway, I won't go any more onto that. I'm going to let Christine the amazing Christine intro herself.
And I have to say, Carrie Marie, you have definitely helped me get unstuck. You know, on those days that I feel like my feet are stuck in molasses in the middle of winter, in the middle of your winter. Anyway, my name is Christine Lunceford. I am in North Central Arkansas. I am married to my sweetheart, and he has 2 boys, grown boys. We have 5 grandkids, 4 Jack Russells, one of which is sitting next to me, hopefully keeps his mouth shut. And we have chickens. And the funniest thing today, our chickens were chasing down our dogs,
Oh,
trying to peck their butts. Yeah.
did you get a recording of this?
I did not. It was comical. Jack decided to run at one of the chickens and he gets yelled at. And then the chicken turned around and started chasing him down and he's looking behind himself, tucking his butt and running. It was funny. Anyway, so I am an Empower You coach and I coach women through basically food intolerances. That's my focus this year's food intolerances. So
Yeah, and it's so helpful. I mean, the research that you have done and your own trial and error on everything is so helpful for people who are just not sure even where to move forward. So I love the work that you're doing. I think it's incredible. And if you all haven't read Christine's book, you definitely need to get your hands on that as well. It's super helpful, and it's called Wrong Answer, which is super simple. I love the name because it's literally
I know. It's great. You know, we never think to tell everybody that we're both published authors.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't.
which is just kind of funny. But yes, anyway, we're both published authors. So
So
there
if
is
you
that.
would like to know more about our books or get links to how to order them, or even just to read more about what they are, we're happy to share that with you. And actually, we should pop that in the comments. Anyway, just in case anybody is curious. But if you are hopping on, be sure to say hello. We want to say hello to you. We want to give you a shout out. That was just me testing to make sure we are going live. Hey, Renee, good morning. How are you? So this morning, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about, first of all, why a lot of people fail on their goals by the second week in January, but also how to stop that. So let's dive right in because we want to make sure that we are giving you all of the info. But first, let me just ask you this question. Please be honest with us here. Pop in the comments. How many of your goals did you set January 1st? Like you set it to go into the new year, your new year resolutions that already feel harder than you were anticipating or that you expected? Are they already feeling like, ugh, why did I set this kind of goal? This is crazy. Or you're not taking action towards your goal, whatever it is. So ask yourself that question. Drop a me if that is you. Drop a me if you are already feeling like your motivation is fading toward your goals, or you're just feeling maybe behind on your goals already, even though we're only 1 week into the new year.
That would be me. That would be me. And I'm very grateful that we did our SMART goals because, yes, that would be me. So please be honest. Tell us.
Yeah.
Did you set the goals? Is life suddenly going, I'm going to slap you upside the head and you're, not going to have the motivation to do it. So please be honest and let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're totally not alone in this. Most people, there's actually, what is it, like 75 or more % of people quit by Quitter's Day, which is the second Friday.
I think it was even higher than that. I think it was like 80 or 85%. It was crazy.
Probably. I mean, that makes more sense actually that it's so Quitter's Day this year is this coming Friday, January 9th. And so that it's obvious that there is a problem here. There is an underlying problem that caused the majority of people to quit on themselves and to quit on the goals that they set by the second week in January. So just know that you're not alone in this. If you feel like, I can't believe I'm already like feeling the lack of motivation or feeling like I can't move forward with any of my goals, it's okay. Because sometimes it's like when there's so much change all at once, when you want to change all kinds of aspects of your life all at once, then all of a sudden your body starts like putting up these like warning lights of like, no, I don't want to do this. And you start sabotaging.
Well, and unless you have a plan in place, I used to hate if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I used to hate that saying. However, it is very, very, very true because you have to know how you're going to fit it in. And this was me. I used to always put these big, goals on my goal board and the big dream boards, but I didn't have a plan to get there. And so now I've just realized it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Some other reasons too why people fail on their big giant New Year's resolutions or big giant goals is that it's like kind of that all or nothing thinking, like I've got to go all in, I've got to do all of this stuff. Or maybe there isn't even a plan in place at all. Maybe it's just like having the big goals. And I know I've done this before where I have this massive goal to accomplish something huge or to do something huge, but I have zero plan in place of how I'm even going to do that. Or there's like no structure. It doesn't seem to make sense. It's almost like, okay, let's take something easy because a lot of people are like, I want to be a millionaire. First of all, there's really no reason behind that necessarily, but it's like, what is your plan of action? If you want to be a millionaire, how do you think you're going to get there? You know what I mean? Like you have to make sure that you are taking steps. Like where are you starting from? Where do you want to be? What are the steps you want to take? You might not know all of the steps up front, but if you have zero plan whatsoever, you're going to immediately self-sabotage. You're immediately not going to take any action toward it because you don't have a plan to take action.
Exactly.
And also to rely on your own motivation, because as we know, we sometimes have those days where we have zero motivation. or very little motivation, and we don't feel like doing the stuff because we don't have any systems in place to help us on those days where we are lacking motivation, where we are dragging our butts. So
Yeah. And life doesn't slow down when January 1st hits.
yes, yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it just doesn't. So if you don't have a plan and you don't have an idea of how it's going to fit in, it's not going to magically happen.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So if you're watching this, let us know if you've ever had any of this kind of stuff happen to you. If you've ever set big goals, what is the thing that seems to keep you from achieving the goals? Is it maybe you're reaching burnout? Maybe you don't have any time to work towards your goals. Maybe you lose momentum easily. Maybe you don't have a plan in place. Like, what do you think it is for you? Why is it that in the past you have not reached the goals that you've set for yourself? Maybe you just set too big of goals that seem like unachievable. What are those things for you?
Yes.
Or
And
maybe
big
it's a
goals
combination.
are not, yeah. And we're not saying big goals are bad,
No, no,
but you
no,
have
they're
to
not.
take that big goal and turn it into baby steps
Yeah.
because you're not going to take, I mean, unless you're, a long jumper and you can jump from $1,000 a month to, $10,000 a month in one leap.
Mhm.
That's not how it works.
Exactly. And it's like that for anything in life. It's
Anything.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be some star athlete if you are literally going from being a couch potato. Like, there are steps along the way for you to train to be at that level. And so we all have to start from somewhere in order to get to our big goals. But if we have zero support, zero plan in place, and it's not simple and doable, we're not going to stick to it. We're not going to make any progress toward it. So that's what we're talking about today. And so really, ideally, like you were talking about, Christine, is simplify
Mm-hmm.
that big giant goal. First of all, we talked a bit more about SMART goals in the past. And if you missed our SMART goal, well, we did a session all together, but we've also talked about on a past episode about SMART goals. So if you missed that, be sure to stop, check back, and we can always put the link in the comments as well. But we want to make sure that you understand kind of what a SMART goal is, but it makes it so that you're taking those big goals and you're putting it down into something that is actionable, trackable, and doable so that you actually stick to it whether or not you have that motivation. So if your big giant goal is to become some big athlete or a millionaire or whatever, it doesn't have to be one of those big gigantic things.
No.
It could just be that you want to have a great relationship with your spouse or your kids, or you want to move up in the next level of the company that you're with, get a promotion or whatever it is that your goal is, that big goal. If you're able to simplify and break that down into smaller goals, I like to say, okay, take a year-long goal, break it into the month, break it into the week, and then put that into daily action steps. Because if there's no action tied to the goal, there's going to be no progress toward that goal, right?
And you have to celebrate
Yes.
all of those baby steps. All of
Yes.
them.
I love that you brought that up, Christine, because it's important to celebrate ourselves. We don't do it enough. We do not do it enough. We do not give
Especially
ourselves credit enough.
women.
Mhm.
Like they don't give themselves credit for anything that they do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But I'm gonna try
definitely.
not to go off topic, but having the smaller goals. So you get at the end of your day and you think to yourself, I got nothing accomplished. But you got the house cleaned, the laundry done, the kids run, the husband fed, and you've got all these things done, but it's the one thing that you didn't get done that you suddenly say you didn't get anything done. And that's what we're talking about, is having the small steps.
Mhm.
And one of our future episodes is going to be how to know when your power hours are. And we're not going to go into that right now, but
stay tuned for that.
stay tuned for that, because it is important. And then you get to celebrate.
Yes,
Say,
yes.
I got it done.
Mhm. Yeah, because even if you didn't do everything on your checklist, you should celebrate the progress that you did make, the things that you did do, because it is important. And it doesn't have to be like a party every day, but
No.
give yourself credit for it. I like to kind of do a little dance or do a little something that you enjoy doing as a little celebration, or even just, sharing it with somebody else. That's the really great thing too about when you have an accountability partner, when you have somebody that you're both sharing your goals with each other, but also sharing what those action steps are and sharing your celebrations. Because when you can celebrate together with somebody else, whether it be a spouse or a relative or a friend or a business partner or whomever, it doesn't matter who it is. It's the fact that you guys each have your each other's back. You're going
Yes.
to help give each other that motivation when you're lacking the motivation. You're going to help to cheer each other on when you are taking those action steps towards your goal, because it's so exciting to see other people win and to be able to cheer each other on. I think that that's the most important thing. I love it. And that Christine and I are in touch regularly, almost
Yes.
daily or sometimes multiple times a day, because
Yes.
we have shared with each other what our goals are. And we like to be able to cheer each other on for the action steps that we're taking. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to check in with each other on a daily basis. You can figure out with your accountability partner how often you want to check in, but it is important and it's exciting because especially when you get to be that person cheering the other person on, it almost gives you that little bit more motivation to do things for yourself.
Yes.
So anyway, that was a little off topic, but I just wanted to,
Yes.
I love celebrating. It's so
Yes.
important and we don't do it enough. We don't give ourselves credit for all of the things we are doing. So take a
Absolutely.
moment and celebrate yourself. Okay. Also, make sure that you're focusing on consistently doing something versus being perfect about things. Because first of all, perfection is
Procrastination.
yeah,
Perfection is procrastination. Just so you
exactly.
know. I heard that and I was like, what? If you're waiting to be perfect, you're going to procrastinate. I was like, that's me.
Yes. Yes, it's like, it's kind of like when you hear somebody say like, "Oh, we're not ready to have kids yet because it's not the perfect time. We don't have everything all lined up yet." First of all, there is no perfect time to have children. There is going to be no perfect time, but also it is procrastination. And that's a big thing. Obviously, you want to be prepared to have children in one form or fashion, but it's like
You got 9 months. You got 9 months to
yeah,
figure it out.
exactly. I mean, everything is figure outable. I don't know who actually says that, who coined that term, everything is figure outable, but it is. And so when you start taking action, even if it's messy action, it's better than zero action. And you're going to figure out along the way. You're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work, how to do things a little bit better or a little bit, in a different way if need be.
Yes.
So you
I
just have to
love the
start
saying,
somewhere.
every master was once a disaster.
I love that because that's so true. I mean, we all
It is.
as a
You can't compare the end of somebody's book to the beginning of yours.
Mhm. Oh,
You can't.
look at all
I
these
mean,
amazing sayings. These are great. If somebody wants to type them up, we'll pop them on the screen. All
I know,
right.
I love that one. I would love to give accolades to the person who said it, but I don't remember who said it.
Yeah,
So,
I don't remember who said any of these either. So if you know, put it in the comments. But also, yeah, if you want to type them up, let's see, what did we say? Everything is figure outable.
and every master was once a disaster.
Yes. And then don't compare the end of somebody
It-
else's book to the beginning of yours.
yes, it's kind of like comparing somebody's highlight reel in Instagram or TikTok to your real life. Because trust me, there's a real life behind their highlight reel.
Yeah. So drop that in the comments if you want.
Anyway,
We
we
will.
kind of got off topic. So simplify and break down your goal.
Yeah.
Focus on consistency, not perfection.
Mhm.
We didn't even touch on know your reasoning behind your goal.
Oh, that's so important. Yeah. Yeah. It's like we hear that all the time, to know your why. And it sounds so cheesy, but in a way, it's like if you have zero meaning behind the reason why you even set the
Mhm.
goal, you're not going to take action toward it. If it's
Maybe
not,
that's a better way to say it.
if
Know
it's not meaningful, you're not
yes,
going to take action.
make it meaningful.
Yes.
So, okay, a good friend of mine, I'm not going to say her name only because I don't know if she's open to me sharing all of this, but she had started her weight loss journey. And her why was her son
Mm.
because she went to the school and found out her son was praying for her knees.
Oh,
And the teacher asked what was going on. Well, it was because she was so overweight.
Oh.
And she had posted one day that her son came up and gave her a hug after she started this journey, and he was able to wrap his arms all the way around her.
Oh my
And he said to her, "Mom, I can touch my fingers." Innocently, kid, she
God.
burst into tears. She has lost, oh, I don't even know how much she's lost, like 150 or 200 pounds. I mean,
Wow.
journey. And trust me, that didn't happen overnight. So when we're talking about baby steps and staying consistent and having an accountability partner, and I want to touch on this, I love Carrie Marie's. You want somebody that's encouraging, but you also want somebody who is going to hold you up and call you up when you are slacking.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Carrie Marie is my go-to because she'll say, "Really? What if you look at it this way instead?" Now, she does it in love and she does it in a kind heart. She doesn't bash me. You do not want an accountability partner that bashes you. That is not
Right.
effective.
But I love that you just said that, Christine, because sometimes we need somebody that's outside of the picture. Like
Yeah,
looking in from the outside, because sometimes when we're in something, when we're struggling with something, we don't see the whole picture. We don't see that just by tweaking a little mindset or tweaking the way that we're doing something, that just that itty bitty tweak can make such a big difference. But we don't see that. We don't even see that it's an option because we're in it. And so
right.
having somebody from the outside that's looking in of just like, hey, did you try this? Or why don't you think about it in this way? Reframe that just a little bit and see how that feels. Oh my goodness. It's like light bulb moment. Mind
Yeah,
blowing.
and that little shift can make a big shift.
Yes, like huge. I mean, think about an airplane just flying through the sky. If they just make an itty bitty bit tweak, like itty bit from this huge giant plane, where they end up is completely different than where they were originally headed, even if it's just 1 degree. So
1 degree.
if you were to just tweak that itty bitty bit in either the way that you're doing something or the way that you're thinking about something, what a huge difference overall that could make, even if it's an itty bitty tiny change. So keep that in mind. Change doesn't have to be huge and difficult and scary. It can be tiny, but also having somebody else to help you make those tweaks is super important. Having that accountability person and having
Absolutely.
somebody else that can look in. I love that.
Yeah.
Also, attaching your goals to your real life, because sometimes we think about the goals that really don't apply to our real life. So if you
Right.
can habit stack or set up your SMART goals so that you have things that are trackable, you can actually track your actions, because again, the goal is the goal, but the action's where it's at. You have to
Exactly.
take.
And you have to consider, what are you going to give up? And
Mhm,
I don't mean that, okay, if you're going to go to the gym, you get to give the time that it takes to get to the gym and
mhm.
to do that. So that time that you were, I don't know, sitting on the couch playing a game, that would be me. You get to take that time and you get to shift it to something else. So you're not really giving something up, but you have to be willing to look at what you are shifting.
Mhm.
Um, are you willing to give up your candy to eat fruit? Are you willing to, give up your diet soda to drink water? There gets to be an exchange of something to
Mhm.
get to that goal.
Right. And having that meaningful goal is where you're going to easily be able to make that change. I shouldn't say easy because it's not easy. It's sometimes
That-
hard, but you are much more willing to stick to that swap, that change, if the goal that you have is meaningful for you. If there is a reason why you would do anything to make this happen. But so
Yes.
it has to be meaningful. So you can't just say, I want to be a millionaire and have nothing, like you have no idea what you're even going to do with those millions of dollars. You have to know. It has to be so meaningful to you that literally they say the why that makes you cry, but it is like you have to go deep. You have to
Mhm.
go deep, and it really needs to mean something to you. It needs to be so meaningful to you, like that person that like that friend of yours who lost that weight because it was meaningful to her son. It brought tears to her eyes when he could put his hands around her. That is where it's at. So if you can envision yourself achieving your goal and it brings all the emotion with it, it makes you cry, it makes you emotional, it makes you so happy that you couldn't even imagine living life without having achieved that goal. That is what you need to keep in mind, because then
It
it
carries
makes
you.
those changes.
Yes, it carries you when you can't carry yourself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And don't ask me where that just came from. So,
I was literally,
speaking
when
of
you
which,
said that, I
okay,
was picturing, Jesus carrying
oh,
carrying you.
yes, yes. So, what is one goal that if you're watching this that you have that already feels heavy?
Yeah.
And we're here to help you make it not so heavy. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean it won't be hard. It doesn't mean it won't be a challenge, and it can be simple.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So here are some quick little reframes for you. Try habits over resolutions. So try just creating some new habits in your life versus making a full resolution, a new year resolution.
Yes. And definitely progress over perfection. I will remind you again, every master was once a disaster.
Mhm. And celebrate those little things. Celebrate the progress. Even if it's little, celebrate it.
Yes. And I think this kind of ties in also with habits over resolutions is systems. Have
Yeah.
a system, have a plan in place, because on the days that you don't have the motivation or the brain capacity, women get brain fog. That would be me. That
Mhm.
kind of, if I don't already know what I am doing in that day, I have a tendency to get lost in the muck and not feel like I got anything done.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking
So,
of brain fog, like, sometimes we need to support ourselves, like, support our energy and support our
definitely.
focus with some things. You and I do this really well. We have some really amazing supplements that we take that help us, because
Mhm.
right now we are both in middle-age life, and
Yes.
our brains and our bodies are like, no, you can't have focus. We're not gonna let you. But we are like, uh-huh, yes, we are. So anyway,
Yes.
adapt is amazing for that, because there's like,
Yes.
how many mushrooms are in that? There,
8.
it's just
There's 8 mushrooms in there.
8 mushrooms.
Oh,
So
and for anybody who doesn't like mushrooms, it doesn't taste like mushrooms
no,
because it's
and
a
it's
pill.
a capsule. Yeah, a
Yeah.
capsule. So
I
for
freaked out
me,
this morning. Yesterday actually, my Ignite. I ran out of my Ignite.
oh
Like, I have
no.
it sorted for this week because I sort my so that I don't have to, remember what I'm taking. This is morning, this is afternoon, this is
Mhm.
evening. But I was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's on the way."
Yay.
I was like, "Oh, no, 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 that's not an option." So Ignite is definitely. Oh, and I was gonna grab it and I forgot it. I mixed up Rush, Lemonade Rush,
Mhm.
Strawberry Hydrate, and then the Fit Fuel.
Oh, that sounds really delicious. That sounds
Yeah,
so yummy, almost like a
creamy
smoothie.
creamy strawberry lemonade.
Ooh,
I know.
I so wanna try that. Although I don't
Oh,
have any of the lemonade rush. I have the strawberry rush and, one
you
of the
could probably
other.
do the same thing with the lemon lime.
Yeah. Oh,
It's not
yes.
gonna be the same, but it's gonna
Mhm.
be so yes,
Um,
huge.
but yes, and you know what I just started doing too is mixing hydrate with coconut water, because coconut water also has natural benefits, and so that's also very delicious. So
Yes,
highly recommend that.
I'm gonna have to get some more of that. So,
Also, of course, my daily brew, like this right here, mushroom coffee, and I have the fit fuel in here. I've got the gold in here to make it super delicious. I also put a little cinnamon in because yum.
but no, yes, I'm out of my gold too. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
goodness. I am
I
also
know.
almost out of my gold, so I hope that my order comes today, although we just got this snowstorm, which might push deliveries back, so we'll see.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so
All right.
I guess what we're since we got sidetracked on that. So what is one thing that we've talked about that you could do to simplify your goals?
Mhm. Yeah, so
And
what, yeah,
okay, so and
simplify it and put us.
if you don't like the word goals, because sometimes goals feels sticky and yuck, we
Mhm.
used to call them PIPs, personal improvement plan,
I like that.
because no, there's nothing wrong with you. So don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying there's something wrong with you. But and you can desire to do something different or desire to do something better or to perfect something. That's where you can do
Yeah.
it.
I don't remember who said this. I don't want to say it wrong. I think I know who said it, but I don't want to make the quote and not, but the quote is if you're not growing, you're dying. And
Yes.
that's kind of crazy to think about because we're all in life. We're all at some point in our life. And so if you're not growing and improving and trying to tweak your life in a way that works better for you, where you're accomplishing more things, you're doing more things you want to be doing, you're literally just on your way to death. I know it's awful to say. That's so terrible to say. I
I
don't
know, but it's so
but it's
true. I
so
mean,
true. So it's like, would you rather be growing or would you rather be dying? You get to make that choice. Every day we have choices. Every day we get to make the choice of what we want to be doing in our life. We can choose to sit and be sad for ourselves and wallow in what hasn't worked and how we failed on goals or whatever, or we can decide, hey, right now, right this very moment, even if this morning I totally fell off the wagon with my diet I was doing, or I didn't exercise this morning when I said I would, okay, right now is a brand new moment. Give
yes,
yourself grace. We didn't mention this yet, but this is so important. So, not only should you be celebrating the things that you're taking action on, give yourself grace because beating yourself up for things that you didn't do or you didn't do the way that you wanted to or whatever, that is just going to cause a negative spiral.
yes.
So,
And you haven't failed.
yep.
The only time you fail is when you quit trying.
Hmm.
And sometimes we've got to, okay, I love this analogy. I love this analogy. Every time I hear it, it makes me smile. Okay, a baby, hi, Andrew. A baby decides that it is going to start walking and it falls down.
Hmm.
Does it sit there and go, oh, I wasn't meant to walk. I'm never going to do that again?
Right.
Every
That
time I hear
sounds
that, I was
ridiculous.
like,
That sounds ridiculous because we were all babies once and we all want to walk.
and guess what? You may be able to walk and run now,
Mhm.
but whatever it is that you are doing, you may fall down. You may fall forward. You may fall backwards onto your butt. You may fall into somebody else. But guess what? You only fail when you quit trying to get back up.
Yes. So give yourself
And
that.
and maybe you need to make some adjustments.
Mhm.
Maybe you look at that and don't be afraid to make adjustments.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you
That's the
start
beauty
something
of
and you go,
failing. That's the beauty
yeah.
of failing is that we learn something from that and we can tweak things. We can
What is
decide,
it?
oh,
Ben Franklin said that he didn't fail 1,000 times.
he learned so many ways of not to do
I don't
something.
remember. There's a quote about that, but
Yeah.
anyway. So
Well, it's like the guy who invented the vacuum cleaner, the Hoover guy. I think there was like literally thousands of times he failed. He had this idea to make a vacuum cleaner when nobody else had ever thought of a vacuum cleaner before.
mhm.
He thought of thousands of ways that didn't work until he finally found the way that did work and he created the vacuum that actually worked. He didn't he didn't fail that many times. He just learned ways that weren't working.
Yeah, that
And
didn't work. Okay,
and
let's try
ways that he
something
tried
new.
to tweak
Okay.
something. So just keep that in mind. I think that we're always a little bit too hard on ourselves when we really just need to give ourselves grace and learn from our mistakes, learn from things that didn't work out the way that we intended and just tweak it and keep moving. And so just keep that in mind. Please don't beat yourself up
Yeah,
because the time that you're spending beating yourself up is just a waste of time. And instead, you
exactly.
could be utilizing that time to figure out a different way of doing something or ask a friend. It's like a game
Exactly.
show. Press the button, ask a friend, call a friend.
Okay. Andrew will appreciate this if he's still watching. Don't be a lone wolf. That was 1000% me. And I still sometimes have to tell myself not to be a lone wolf because it is okay to say, Carrie Marie, this isn't working. I want to reassess. I want to simplify. I want to reset, but I don't know how to do it. What do you see that I can do? And I'm going to say this to the other side, feedback is neutral.
Mhm,
So if you have an accountability person that is doing it in love, what they're telling you isn't an attack on you.
mhm.
It is an observation of what you might be able to change. And here's the thing: if what they say you go, I ain't doing that. it's okay. Let it
Mhm.
roll off, because
Yep.
they don't necessarily know 100%, even if you think you've told them everything.
Right. Right. And we should never be tied to that. Don't be tied to the
No,
outcome.
don't.
Enjoy the journey of getting there and of what you learn along the way. And so I definitely agree. Having somebody that you can bounce things off of just like, hey, I've tried this several times. For some reason, I just keep giving up. What am I not seeing? What am I not doing? And sometimes it's the fact that you're actually just self sabotaging yourself. You have that stuck point that is causing it so that no matter what you try, no matter how many times you try it, you're still going to stop doing it or not do it right because you have this stuck point, this thing that is holding you back from actually taking action toward this goal. And most of the time, so, and I don't want to get way too off track, but we have gone through life up until this point of like this very moment today. We have gone through our life. We have experienced all kinds of things. A lot of the times we have experienced traumas in different ways, or we have had things directed at us, or we've heard things, or we've experienced things that have caused us to create these kind of blocks and these stuck points around different parts of our life that is not allowing us to move on because we have it, and it could be literally at a cellular level. We might not be aware that we're even
Mhm.
causing this, causing us to not move forward with something. We might not even be aware that it's happening because it's underneath.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to make a note because you're not broken. You're not a failure just because something hasn't worked out in the past. There is usually another way of getting there. And sometimes it's releasing the things that are stuck. Sometimes it's getting somebody else's opinion on how you might be able to do things differently or how you can think about things differently, how to just reframe things in your mind. We can literally change a story by reframing the way that we think about things.
Mhm.
It's so cool. So we think that we have no control over our past because it's already done, it's already over with. But try reframing the way that you think about something that has happened in the past, and all of a sudden it's a different story. You just changed the past.
Absolutely. And if you're trying, you're a success.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because there's people out there
absolutely.
not trying. So, okay, we're way over.
Yes, we did have a
So,
a slow start because of our technical difficulties, but I
yes,
also wanna, keep keep this in mind of not going too late.
yeah.
So
So, basically, what we're saying is goals fail, and I still don't even like the word fail, but because we want you to fail forward, but because they're too big, too rigid, or you're unsupported.
mhm,
So, don't be afraid to reevaluate and
mhm,
say, "Hey, what can I do?
yeah,
And what is that 1 degree shift that I can make?"
mhm, yeah,
And if
pick
your
up
1 degree
again.
shift doesn't work, you call Carrie Murray and say, "Okay, I'm stuck. Can you get me unstuck?" That was me in negative self-talk. So anybody who knows me, even Carrie Marie was kind of surprised. She's like, "Is
I
this
was
really
so
it?"
yeah,
I
and
was like, "Oh yeah, I do self beat up all the time. I don't need more." Um, so let's see. Okay, so what are we doing next week?
next week we are going to be talking about we're going to actually be taking this topic that we're talking about today a little bit further. We're going to be taking it to the next level of talking a little bit about fresh starts and why doing too much kills your goals.
Hmm.
So we're going to help you simplify a little bit next week. So stay tuned. And if you didn't know this, we go live every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central for the Wellness Wake Up Weekly. And all of our episodes can be found, most of them on Facebook, but Facebook does delete them after a while, which is annoying, but all of them are on our YouTube channels. And so we will be sure to pop the link to our YouTube channel so that you can subscribe and you can go back, because the cool thing about YouTube is that it's a search engine. So you could go to our channel and in the little search bar, you can search for a term that you want to learn more about. So maybe it is goals, maybe it is sleep, maybe it's whatever, it doesn't matter. Just put in the little word, and then you're going to get all of our previous episodes or other videos that we might have on our channel that will help you with that one thing. So if you
Yes.
can't find it, because Facebook also doesn't make it very easy to find things once it's in the past.
No.
So Facebook is probably not the place to look for our past episodes. So I highly recommend going over to the YouTube channels, subscribing there so that you know every time that we're going live and when we have new videos that we're posting, but also so that you can go and search for the things that you need help with, because we want to support you even if we're not with you in person. I
Yeah.
mean, Christine and I are obviously very far away and we can still support each other. And so the cool thing is we want to be able to support you. We want to give you tools and techniques and things that we know work. We are living this too.
Yes.
We're trying and failing on a lot of things. We are testing things out and we're figuring out things that are working and that work for our clients as well. And so that's the thing, is that when we are bringing you these tips, we're doing it out of a place of researching it a lot, trial and error, and also making sure that it's working for other people. So we don't just throw out things willy-nilly. We're coming to you from real life situations.
Yeah, we're real life humans, not chat GPT.
Yeah. Yes. As much as AI can be super helpful in
It
many,
can,
many
we
ways,
utilize it, but this is also
but
just
this
real life.
is us. Yes.
This
If you
is us.
if you haven't used ChatGPT to help you come up with a menu plan or things like that, totally utilize it for things like
Oh,
that.
totally.
But if you want real life
Yes.
real people, come and visit us every Wednesday morning for the Wellness Wake Up Weekly. We
Okay,
want to
Greg
see you.
decided that I don't know if you can see him over my shoulder.
Oh,
He's staring at the door because he heard Autumn take Abigail out.
oh my goodness. He's like, I'm next. Take me out next.
Yeah. Okay, I've got to run.
Yes.
And I hope everybody has a wonderful, empowered, amazing day. And please comment below if there's something that you want us to talk about.
Yeah, we usually plan the next few episodes in advance, but we want to make sure that we're talking about the things that are helpful for you. So
Absolutely.
if you let us know, like, hey, this is a topic that I want to dive deeper on, I want to learn more about, or maybe it's something that you have failed on, whatever it is, many times, and you're like, I really need somebody else's opinion. Hey, let us know. We want to talk about it. We want to bring you the things that will actually work for you. I mean, we don't know that for sure. You have to try it first. But
Yes, real life things. Okay.
have an amazing day,
Have a great day.
everyone. And we will see you again next week for the Wellness Wake Up Weekly.